So you want to take your long-term relationship or wife to your native country? Let's talk about how immigration or your embassy helps you. Straight out of the gate, guys, you don't talk to your embassy. Now, I will not speak to the US because I do not know the whole thing around the US because you guys have this something visa that you take your wife and they want you married in the US, unlike other countries. So I'll speak to the Canuck group of countries, which is Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. What happens there, guys, is you get put over to a office that is run by those immigrations from those respective countries, but all the people inside it are all Filipino. So in other words, they're doing a paint by numbers, right? You can walk in there and you go, what about this? What about this? What about this? That's not what they're there for, unless it's in the paint by numbers book. Okay. And so they will help walk you through various things, but not a heck of a lot. So in our particular case, we were there just to submit papers because we were local. And so we did a lot of running back and forth. But that's how you get everything done to get to your native country. Now, it was interesting for Lynn and I because we got caught in an immigration change. And so, I don't know how many people were denied access to Canada. And again, in my particular case, I never wanted to get married again. I was fully committed to Lynn and everything, but I never wanted to get married again. And so, that kind of got us caught in the middle of everything. Now, we did end up getting married, and I think, honestly, that made it much, much easier to get Lynn into the country. And part of the reason is what we're going through with a friend of ours who's trying to get here on an education visa. And that is, the consultants and everybody suggests that they have ties that kind of force them to go back to their native country. Now, if that was Lynn and I, that would have meant buying a piece of land. That would have meant having X amount of money in the bank. And yet that was not our goal. Our goal was to move to Canada, right? And I was still at that point of, once we get to Canada, we'll go back for the odd visit to the Philippines. I had no desire to live long-term in the Philippines, even the long-term that we do right now, which is 6 months and 6 months. So, hence 2.5 years later, spending all that time in the Philippines and banging around Southeast Asia everywhere, kind of fell in love with the whole thing. Got more comfortable with the culture, got more comfortable with, picking up a few words here and there, etc. And so, the net result is we go back and forth. But there is an advantage to having a consultant for some of this stuff, guys. But where we did run into an issue with the consultant was doing a tourist visa at the same time as a immigration visa. In our case, we call it a permanent residency. So that became a bit of an issue because they were trying to figure out what was going on. And of course, you don't physically talk to anybody, and this is one of the problems that we run into. And of course, since COVID, more and more and more is going online. And as I wrap up this video, I'll just point out over at our city hall here, I went over to pay our taxes and they said, please pay them at the bank. And I said, yeah, but you guys got to pay a fee. Yeah. We're not hiring anybody anymore. We have somebody on the front desk. Everybody else is gone. Everything went online. Everything. Now, I've been through these cycles of centralizing, decentralizing, centralizing, decentralizing. And right now we're in a centralizing situation, even though in this particular case it's a city. But eventually there'll be enough stuff happening that they're going to have to put more people back in the office. That's just how it is. But it won't change McDo. They will put everything online. Everything. And kill jobs everywhere. Just saying. Later, Gators.